Good morning, cadets.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
Good
Morning.
morning. Yes,
Morning, sir.
we'll continue with this story. What is the title of the story?
Good morning,
Yes.
sir.
Good morning. What is the title of the story? Can you tell me the title of the story and the writer? The
The
title of
enemy
the
Pearl
story.
Lock.
Yes. Are you able to hear?
The enemy.
The
The
enemy
enemy.
Pearl's
And who is
Buck.
the writer? Pearl yes, Buck, the one who has won the Nobel Prize in for literature. She won the Nobel Prize for literature. And what is the name of the novel which is quite famous? That is, yes, Good Earth. Yes, what is the name of the book? That is Good Earth. Okay, right. So she won the Nobel Prize for Literature. Yes, right. Shall we continue the story where we are stopped, right? Meanwhile, I'll just try to share the screen. Yes, yes. Uh, which page we have been talking about? We have talked about Sadao, then his wife, and how she got married. Yes. Then about father who was very serious that he should become yes doctor. So he became a surgeon. Not only surgeon, he also became a scientist. Yes. Then about Hana and Sadao, how they came across each other, and afterwards how they got married. Father was very conservative, yes, very traditional, and he made sure that she was pure in race. She was a Japanese. So Sadao also did not go against the wishes of the father, and when he consented, then he got married to her. Okay, so here they have a house. Where is the house? Where is it located? It is located on the seashore, isn't it? Where is it located? Yes, boys.
Seashore.
On the
Seashore.
seashore, yes. It is located on the seashore, and there they come across an American. They come across a white man, and then now they are in dilemma. What is to be done? What is the dilemma? He is their enemy. He is their enemy, and whether to take care of him. Now this man has fainted. He is in unconscious state. Whether to shelter him and give him treatment or to hand over to the Japanese police. Now, for them, it was easier to hand over to the police because there would not have been any problem for them. If they shelter the enemy, definitely they would be considered a traitor and they would be behind the bars or they would be hanged. So life was in
Yes.
danger for them. Yes, life was in danger for them, and that's why they had to take a decision what is to be done. Now we have discussed, up to that, you asked me about repulsion, then we have continued, then we have come to know that, yes, this man, yes, they recognize that he was an American prisoner of war who had escaped and he was wounded. He was shot at the back and he was wounded very badly. Yes, and then after that, yes, what do we learn about that? Now, both of them, husband and wife, they are talking to each other, what is to be done, and somehow they come to kind of conclusion that yes, we'll throw him back into the sea, but somehow the humanitarian values somehow I mean the Dr. Sadao, I mean he's a doctor, and this couple somehow they feel that it's not right, though he's an enemy, he's a human being and it's not right to just throw him into the sea. So what they do after that, let's go ahead with this story because they are facing the dilemma. They don't know what is to be done. Yes. and you also cannot throw him back to the sea. Hannah said, you can't see, you see how foolish his face is, and he's wounded. And Dr. Sadao says, if you would have been a whole man, if you would have been all right, then I would have definitely handed him over to the Japanese police. But here is a person who is a very injured, who is wounded very badly, and here is a doctor who has to treat him. As a doctor, it's his duty to take care of his patients. And now here there is an enemy. I mean, though he's an enemy, he has to see that yes, he becomes all right. So that is what is the feeling in him, and that's why Anna said, you cannot throw him back to the sea. Then there's only one thing: if you cannot throw him back to the sea, what can be done? We have to carry him into the house. So that was a time when fishermen won't be there. No, that when that person had fallen down there, who had fainted there on the seashore. At that time, no fishermen, nobody there, even chance beachcombers would not be there. So they felt that it was quite safe for them to carry it to the house. But if they find that they are sheltered and American, definitely the couple would have been in big trouble. Yes, shall we go ahead with the story? Now, where we have stopped, can you just tell me? Page number? Is it the next page? But the servants, they are worried about the servants. Yes, I think it's here. So they think that yes, what is to be told to the servants? They're just thinking about that, and the conversation is going on between these two, husband and wife, because they are facing the dilemma that there is an enemy, there is an American who is there, fainted there, very badly injured. He has bullet injury. Yes, now somehow they have stopped the bleeding, but now what is to be done? Yes, whether to save him or hand him over to the police. Okay, shall we go ahead with the story now? We must simply tell them that we intend to give him to the police. So if the servants question us what is to be done, we have to just simply tell that our intention is to hand him over to the police. As indeed we must. And Sadao and Hana says, yes, we must do that. Yes, we have to hand him over to the police. We must think of the children. We have to think about our our future, our position, the kind of status we have got in the society, and we have to think about that, the kind of status we have got in the society. Keeping that in the mind, what we have to do, we have to hand him over to the police. It would endanger all of us if we did not give this man over as a prisoner of war. This man was a prisoner of war, and if we do not hand him over to the police, what will happen? It will endanger our life. So that is what Hana has told Sadao. But anyway, now they have to take him to the house. That is what she has also told. And she says we have to think about the kind of status we have got in society. We have to think about the future of the children, and therefore we should not endanger our lives by sheltering for longer time. So we have to hand him over to the police ultimately. Certainly, Sadao agreed. I would not think of doing anything else. So I won't think anything else. I will just, I'll take care of him. And after that, probably I will hand him over to the police. Thus agreed. Together they lifted the man. So what was agreement? Yes, now take him to the house and afterwards hand him over to the police. He was very light, like a fowl, like a fowl, like a hen, like a bird, like a fowl that had been half starved. It's kind of a bird, a species, particular species fowl that had been half starved for a long time until it is only feathers and skeleton. So here was a man who was very very light in weight. So, like a fowl, probably that you use it for meat, that had been half starved. So he had been half starved. So he had been starved for many days. He did not get enough food for many days. And what was left of the fowl? Only feathers and skeleton. Similar way, what was left of him was skeleton only. Maybe very bony, yes, only skin or flesh and skeleton. So his arms hanging, they carried him up the steps and into the side door of the house. So where are they carrying? They are carrying to their house. Okay. Just as I go on, I thought I'll just show you. Yes, the Japanese race. Yes, what we other day discussing about that. So I'll just show you that. Can you see that? What is this? This is kimono. Can you see this? Yes, yes, boys.
No, sir.
You can't see. Can you see now?
The
Quick.
textbook I will be
Yes.
textbook able to see, sir, not Kimino.
Are you able to see one lady? Yes.
No, sir.
No,
What
sir.
are you
Sir,
able to
zoom
see?
in.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. I got
Only
it.
textbook is visible.
Okay, okay. Now you are able to see the what you are able to see. Okay, I think I
Yes,
have to
yes, sir.
go and
Textbook, sir.
textbook you are able to see. Fine, doesn't matter. Yes. Okay. I'll just share another thing. Okay. Now I'm sharing this. Yes. Can you see this now? Yes. Are you able to see now?
No, sir.
Now I think you
Sir.
will be able to see.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir, able to see, sir.
So here is a Japanese woman, and what is she wearing? So this is their traditional Japanese dress. Okay, and what is it? It's a kimono. Okay, so this is a kimono, and I'll show you one more now. Can you see here? One more. Yes, this is a haori. Can you see this now? Haori?
Yes,
You
sir.
are able.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
Now it is outer garment. Haori is a outer garment. What you are able to see? Kimono or haori?
How is
Howris,
how is
That another
Howris,
lady is
sir.
there, no? Another woman is there, and she is wearing haori. And earlier I have shown you kimono. So these are all Japanese, traditional dress. So this is a kimono, and one more which I have been showing you. This is a haori. Okay, fine. So let us move on to the now. I will move on to the lesson now. Okay, right. Okay, right. Shall we go ahead? Okay, here, what has happened later now? This door opened into a passage. So when they opened the door, there was a passage, and down the passage, they carried the man towards an empty bedroom. It had been the bedroom of Sadao's father. Sadao's father had died, and it was an empty bedroom. Here in this bedroom, who lived? Sadao's father lived, and you know about his personality trait. How was he? Can you tell about his personality trait? His characteristic? He was a very traditional. He was very conservative. Yes, Sadao's father, and he had died, and it was empty room. Since his death, it had not been used. They laid the man on the deeply matted floor. So this was a matted, I mean, this was a room which had a matted floor. So they have carried him to that, yes, room. Everything here had been Japanese to please the old man. So he loved, Japan, and he loved all that was Japanese. And to please, to make this old man very happy, everything that was there in his room, that was all Japanese, would never in his own home sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. He never like even in his house he never liked to sit on a chair or sleep in a foreign bed. He never liked whatever was foreign. So Hana, so probably he loved to sit there on the mat only, on the floor only. In the villages and all people, rather than sitting on the chair, you must have seen them sitting on the floor, cross-legged. Yes, Hana went to the wall cupboards and slid back a door and took out a soft quilt. So quilt like a blanket, yes. What here also we use that very thick blanket, soft quilt. She hesitated. The quilt was covered with flowered silk, and the lining was pure white silk. And probably she was just thinking, it was made of silk, very valuable one, very expensive one, and should she use that for him? He's so dirty, she murmured in distress. So in kind of she's in stress and she's in despair, yes, in distress. She's annoyed bit and she utters a word, he's so dirty, she feels kind of annoyance there because he's very dirty. Yes, he had better be washed. So he has not taken a bath for many days. He was on the run, and when he was on the, because he had escaped, he was a prisoner of war and he had escaped. Probably he must have jumped out of the boat or jumped out of the ship, and somehow he had tried to escape. And he happened to come to the beach, Japanese beach there. So, but it was, they were, I mean, he was quite lucky that he had come across Dr. Sadao. If you will fetch hot water, I will wash him. So if you get hot water, I'll wash him. Fetch, if you get hot water, I'll wash him. Who says? Sadao says, what has happened? They have found a Japanese soldier on the beach. And after finding that Japanese soldier on the beach, they are in a dilemma whether to hand him over to the police or to shelter him and give treatment to him. So that is what they are in dilemma. Ultimately, they decide, okay, at first we'll take him to the house and afterwards we can hand him over to the police. I cannot bear for you to touch him, she said. So, I cannot tolerate you touching him. We shall have to tell the servants he's here. So we'll tell the servants, you need not worry, you need not touch him, you need not give him a wash. I will tell, because he's very dirty. I'll tell Yumi now. So who is Yumi? Yumi is a nanny, or she's a babysitter. She's taking care of the caretaker. She's taking care of the babies. She can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him. So we are introduced to the to servant, and her name is Yumi. So who is the Yumi? Yumi is a babysitter. She is taking a nanny. You can say that, who is taking care of the children. Caretaker also, you can say that. So she's taking care of the children. So she can leave the children for a few minutes and she can wash him. Sadao considered a moment. Let it be so, he agreed. You tell Yumi and I'll tell the others. So he was just thinking about that. Then he said, okay, let it be. No problem. You can tell Yumi and I'll tell other servants too. But the utter pallor of the man's unconscious face moved him first to stoop and feel his pulse. To stoop, to bend down. So he has bent down there. And what he has tried? He has tried to feel the pulse, whether he's alive. The utter pallor, the paleness, the pale face of this man who had fainted, who was unconscious. So probably that has provoked him to first bend down and check his pulse whether he's alive. It was faint. The pulse was faint. It was slowly running. It was a very, very faint. But it was there. He put his hand against the man's cold breast. The heart too was it alive. So here, probably he could feel that his heart was pumping. Yes, he could feel the heartbeat, and he put his hand against the man's cold breast, and then he could feel that yes, heartbeat was there. So he was still alive. He will die unless he's operated on. Why? He has got bullet injury, a major bullet injury, and the pulse also had become very faint. So definitely he would die if he's not operated on. So what is required? Surgery is required on him. The question is whether he will not die anyway. Sadao said the question is whether he will not die. That is the question. If he dies, no problem. But if he doesn't die, then Hana cried out in fear. Don't try to save him. What if he should live? Don't try to save him. If he dies, at least we can throw him into the sea. But if you save him, then the question comes, what is to be done? What if he should die? Sadara replied. If he dies, then he stood gazing. Started looking at what? Down on the motionless man. So probably kind of concern he was feeling. Here was a motionless man, maybe his enemy. But you see, he's a doctor by profession. And when he's a doctor by profession, naturally he will feel concern for his patient. He says, if you would have been all right, if you would have been whole, then definitely he would not have bothered because he was his enemy. This man must have extraordinary vitality. He must have had extraordinary energy. He would have been dead by now. See, profusely he has a bled, so bleeding profusely it has happened, and very bad injury he has got, bullet injury he has got, and despite all that, he's alive. That means what? He has got a lot of energy, he has got a lot of vitality, extraordinary vitality. But then he was very young, perhaps not at 25. He's quite young and not at 25. You mean die from the operation? So you mean that he will die from the operation? Hanas, yes. Sadao said, yes, in case, right? Even during operation also possibility is there, but he is quite young. Hana considered this doubtfully, and when she did not answer, Sadao turned away. So she was considering this doubt. At any rate, something must be done with him. So something has to be done. First, he must be washed. So at first, what we'll do, we have to do washing. He went quickly out of the room, and Anna came behind him. So here, a lot of actions are not taking place, but only what we see is that they are in dilemma, what is to be done, and they are discussing whether this man would survive. If he survives, then what is to be done, and we are introduced to the character. So who is that character? That's American soldier, and what is his name? We are not yet come across that name, but definitely will come across his name. Okay, so now we have come to know that this man, yes, who had a lot of energy, was quite young, maybe 25, yes, very young soldier, and he was a sailor, yes. Where are we now? At any rate, something must be done. So Sadao says we have to do something. At first, let's wash him. So here, what they do, he went quickly out of the room. Anna came behind him. So both of them they come out of the house. So they decide to give him a wash. She did not wish to be left alone with the white man. She never wanted to be alone with this white man. He was the first, and she had seen since she left America, and now he seemed to have nothing to do with those whom she had known there. Here he was, her enemy, a menace, a danger, living or dead. So he was a kind of nuisance for them. So why did he come there? Why did they come across this man? Whether living or dead, he was a nuisance to them. He was a danger to them. He was a menace to them. Very important word, menace. Okay, right. Shall we move ahead? Yes, boys.
Yes, sir.
Ah, I hear your voice that if you have got any doubt and all, you can always ask me. Okay, boys? Sheep,
No, sir. No,
Yes, sir.
sir.
no doubt. Okay. Quite easy now this time, right? Because a lot of events are not taking place. So she turned to the nursery. She turned to that. I mean, she went to that place where children were there and called Yumi. But the children heard her voice and she had to go in for a moment. So she had to go inside because children heard her and smile at them, play with the baby boy, now nearly 3 months old. So how old was her, elder son? He was 3 years, 3 months old. Yes. Okay, play with the baby now. Okay, this is younger one, right? So younger one, baby, and how old was that baby? That baby was 3 months old. Oh, the baby's soft black hair. She motioned with her mouth. So we'll see whether she has got only one child or two children. Okay, one child is there who is 3 months old, right? So, oh, the baby's soft black hair, she motioned with her mouth. Yumi, come with me. I'll put the baby to bed. Yumi replied, he's ready. So she has not revealed to Yumi what has happened. She went with Yumi into the bedroom next to the nursery. So she went with Yumi where? To the room where the babies usually they remain there. And stood with the boy in her arms while Yumi sprayed the sleeping quilts on the floor. So she has sprayed that quilt, she has sprayed that blanket on the floor and laid the baby between them. So she has the baby is lying there. Yes, where? On the floor, on the quilt. Okay. Then Hannah led the way quickly and softly to the kitchen. So Hannah has gone very quickly to the kitchen. The two servants were frightened at what their master had just told them. So what their master had told them? That they have sheltered their enemy, an American. And they were shaken, they were frightened, they were afraid now. The old gardener was also house servant, pulled a few hairs on his upper lip. And now see, they are also in dilemma, they are also anxious. And remember, Japanese are great patriots. They love their country very much. And there are number of stories about their patriotism.